Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be discussing the Montana State versus New Mexico game coming this Saturday for week 0 of the college football season. Quickly before I start, I'm going to go over my results from this past weekend. So I did a couple preseason games. I made YouTube videos for almost all of them, and I posted them on my Winible, which you can see the details below for my Winible page. We had Rams versus Chargers. Rams plus 2.5. They ended up winning that game by, I think, 4 points. We had Cowboys versus Raiders preseason pick. I had Raiders first half minus 3.5. We ended up losing that game, but as things unfolded and as I predicted in my YouTube video, I thought the second half would be bad for the Raiders. So I sent out a Cowboys live minus 1.5. They ended up winning the game by 15 points. And then to finish off the preseason, I had Broncos minus 7. They ended up winning, I think, by like 20 points. It was like 20 to 2 maybe. I can't remember. And then I had a sleeper pick that I posted on my Instagram where I bet the over props for both the kickers in the Rams-Chargers game, as well as Stetson Bennett over like 180 yards. So we got a 5x multiple on that play. If you're wondering what Winible is, it's my betting service. It'll send my picks directly to your phone. I offer a few different plans. I have a free plan, so pretty much everything that I make a YouTube video over, I'm going to send via text. So it's sometimes hard to keep up with YouTube, so you can get my plays just sent directly to your phone every time. And then every time you get a text, there's going to be a YouTube video on that too. I also offer a props package, a picks package, and then a package that combines both of them. In some states, some states are bad about offering props. Some states are bad about offering betting. So if you live in one of those states that's only good at offering one of those, you can have a cheaper package. If you just want the whole thing, there's this gives you a little bit of savings. And then I'm going to do a $100,000 to $10,000 challenge on my Bet Online account. So that's not going to be all plays. It's only going to be select plays, but I'll keep you up there. Here's my Bet Online account. I have $100 stacked up, so I'm ready for the season. So let's get into the Montana State New Mexico game. Things to know: obviously the spread is minus 10.5. Bet Online has a spread at minus 10, and then the over under is 53.5 points. So quickly before I start, I am not going to act like I'm an expert on Montana State football, because I'm not. But I'm going to go over some things that I like about the game and that you should know for Montana State, because I know everyone's excited for the college football season. They're going to want to bet this game, so don't bet it blindly. Just let me fill you in on some things. So Montana State, they're in the Big Sky Conference, an FCS team. They're the favorite to win the conference. They're expected to be the top offense in the Big Sky this year, and they have been the top offense in the last 2 seasons. They led the whole FCS in play success rate and average yards per play with 7.88 yards per play. They have the best offensive line in the conference, and they're expected to have the best offensive line again this year. They averaged 7.28 yards per carry last season, and for comparison, no other team in the FCS averaged over 6.5 yards. Their quarterback helped a lot with that. They have a strong run game. They have like a running back by committee, but they also have a strong running quarterback with 2,400 career rushing yards and 29 career rushing touchdowns. So a lot of times you see these good running teams, you're like, well, they must not have a good passing team. That's not the case with Montana State. They aren't a one-dimensional team. Last year, they ranked number 4 in all of the FCS with 9 yards per attempt. So things to know for New Mexico: they're expected to finish second to last in the conference. They have a first-year coach. He took a little bit of a break, but he used to be a coach at Virginia and at BYU. Vegas has their season win total over-under at 2 wins. So that's literally the second lowest win total odds out of 134 teams. The only team they're ahead of is Louisiana Monroe, who is over 1.5 wins, but it's at minus 185 odds. So it's basically 2. So New Mexico is basically last in the entire FBS. So looking at their schedule, it seems like, and we can kind of go to their schedule. I have it here. Looking at their schedule, it seems like the wins that Vegas thinks they could have a chance on would be Utah State, New Mexico State, and Hawaii, and probably those are probably the somewhat winnable games, and then I guess maybe Montana State. So the entire offensive line are upperclassmen from the transfer portal. They lost their leading rusher from last year. Their QB is Devin Dampier, who didn't play much last year, but he still got 6 touchdowns with no picks. So doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and he seems capable of doing well. So now that you know a little bit about each team, here's my take on the game. So we often hear these stories about bad programs that get a new coach and they have a new hope and he's going to turn them around. And yes, that happens frequently, but they never do in the first game. I think the way it's going to play out for New Mexico is they have all this false hope, or they have all this hope. They're going to get their ass kicked by Arizona. They're going to lose to Auburn. They're going to lose to Fresno State. And they're going to constantly be plus 30, plus 40 point underdogs. And then you're going to end up finding some value when they're 0-5 versus New Mexico State or versus Air Force or versus Utah State. They're going to be covering, plus 20 spreads or plus 10 spreads against those other teams later in the season. It's going to be one of those ones where they're like 0-6, but they finished the season like 3-4 or whatever. So another thing to know about them is that their defense was awful last year, where they mostly struggled with run defense, which, as I said, is where Montana State definitely excels at. So they also only had 8 forced turnovers last year, and they only had 15 sacks on the whole year. So let me repeat that. Over 12 games, they only committed 8 turnovers, or they only forced 8 turnovers. Out of 12 games, they only had 15 sacks. So you have Montana State, they're averaging 7 yards per carry and 9 yards per pass attempt. But then you have a team who doesn't commit turnovers, they don't sack, and then they also had 119 flags last year for 1,076 yards of penalty yards last season. So while they're letting Montana State run all over them and pass all over him, they'll also be giving them yardage both on the offense and defense side of the ball. I'm taking Montana State minus 10 unless the team total shows up. I haven't seen it yet on my books, which is Bet Online, and then I have just a bookie. The team total should be around 34 points. It might be 33.5, might be 34.5. I'm very comfortable taking the minus 10, but I like the idea of a proven offense that knows each other well, playing a bad defense that doesn't know each other well. And then if I just take the team total, I don't have to worry about New Mexico maybe surprising us with their offense on that side of the ball. So less question marks if all I'm focusing on is the really good Montana State offense versus the really bad New Mexico defense. So that's the play I'm making there. And to kind of just go over that real quick, we can go over... I should have had this ready. So New Mexico last year, you see they give up 52, they give up 34. Like I said, I expect they gave up 31. I expect the team totals to be around 34 points, 33 points. So they give up 35 to Wyoming, they give up 52, they give up 34, give up 56, give up 42, give up 17, give up 44. So I think they're giving up a lot of points. And then if you come to Montana State, they're getting 63 points, 57, 40, 38, 59, 42, 45, 57, 37, and 35. 37, or no, they only got 7 against Montana, and then 34 against North Dakota State. So that tells me that they can score and they can put up points, and it's not new to them, and so that's why I'm more comfortable taking the team total of Montana State. But like I said, I'm very comfortable taking the minus 10. So if you learned anything from today, please put it in the comments if you're going to be telling me. I like to know if I'm helping people win money. It makes me feel better. But good luck to you however you play it, and at least get on my Winible. Like I said, it's hard to keep up with YouTube sometimes. Sometimes it's better to just have a text into your phone. So see you around.